It's Breaking the News with Des Clark.
I am Des Clark, and this is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. With me are four fabulous comics. On my right, we have Jay Lafferty and Daliso Chaponda, and facing them are Stuart Mitchell and Tiff Stevenson. In the news this week, the Tibetan spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, has confirmed that he will have a successor after his death. In a long-awaited announcement, the Dalai Lama said only the trust he founded had the authority to recognise his future reincarnation, but it would most likely be David Tennant again. It's been discovered that the world's oldest boomerang may have been older than previously thought. Archaeologists from the University of Bologna have sent it to the lab for testing and are expecting it to come back very soon. And two well-known Glasgow tower blocks have been blown up in a planned demolition. Glasgow City Council even managed to get the demolitions done for free after telling the US government that Iran were building nuclear weapons in the Gorbals. Right, you've met the teams. Let's crack on with round one. This is the Broken News round, where our teams have to guess two major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. So, Jay and Daliso, can you tell me what this is all about?
The Institute for Fiscal Studies has warned that
President Trump's
credibility is at risk after
$3.3 trillion.
were all but wiped out last night.
The one big, beautiful bill will now go back
To Labour rebels,
along with all of the Senate Democrats.
most of the measures don't apply in Scotland.
Can we identify that first story? Jay, any ideas?
The first story is that Keir Starmer's welfare bill has passed, but there has been a bit of a rebellion.
That is the right answer, Jay. Well done. Yes, the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, is dealing with the outcome of winning a vote on his welfare reforms despite a threat of a Commons revolt. Rebel Labour MPs were finally won over by a commitment to shelve plans for deep cuts to personal independence payments. Sir Keir Starmer is regarded as having made the worst start of any newly elected Prime Minister. I'm standing right here, said Liz Truss. Jay, well done in getting the right answer. What have you made of this revolt?
Labour have put an immense amount of labour into a bill that would potentially harm people who are physically unable to labour. However, a lot of Labour laboured over this and were unhappy with the direction that Labour were taking, which led a lot more Labour from Labour as they tried to laboriously convince the rest of Labour that the disabled people could do a lot more labour. And the only tangible outcome of that is that it made Rachel Reeves cry. They put so much work into gaining absolutely nothing that they should consider playing football for Scotland. Oh, come on, it's been a year.
I love that that was the most controversial part of all that. Well, there you go. We had a rebellion in the Commons this week. Tiff, what did you make of this revolt?
They're cutting all the benefits. They're cutting disability. They want to cut unemployment, friends with benefits, all of them. My favourite quote in the whole story was from Labour. Mary Kelly Foy told MPs, "I popped out for a banana earlier on, and when I came back in, things had changed again. So now I'm even more unclear on what I'm voting on." Like, you did what, love? You popped out for a banana. What are you on about?
I just want to say at this point in time for the Scottish listeners, a banana is a piece of fruit. Stuart, I'll bring you in this now. We're talking about the past week in the comments. What have you made of this revolt?
Well, of course, it doesn't apply in Scotland. We've got an even bigger welfare problem up here. I mean, Christ, even our ferries don't want to work. But it's interesting you mentioned the banana, because also the business secretary, he came out, Jonathan Reynolds, and he said at least the changes are better than the current system. I mean, my wife is better than my ex. But on every occasion, I'm still getting outvoted. Well, ironically, we're talking about welfare bill, and, well, he stayed next door to my gran. There he is again, always get his stick when he goes out.
We're talking about MPs rebelling over the legislation. When was the last time that you took a stand? Daliso.
I don't have the budget for principles. I literally will have whatever opinion is necessary. In fact, there was a comedian who took a very principled stand and lost loads of work. I got all that work. It was wonderful. So now I just try to get people drunk and say, tweet what you believe. Tell everybody.
You're my kind of guy. Well done, sir. Over to you now, Stuart and Tiff. What was the other story we were after?
Oh, this was Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill.
I know, as ridiculous as that sounds, that is in fact the right answer. Well done, Stuart. This week, Republicans in the US Senate narrowly passed Donald Trump's mega bill on tax and spending. At time of recording, the final vote in the House of Representatives has been delayed to allow more time to win over those who object to the legislation. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act would make permanent large tax cuts and increase spending for border security and defence while cutting funding for healthcare and green energy initiatives. One of the bill's most vocal critics is Elon Musk, who branded it political suicide for Republicans and has threatened to set up a new political party if the bill clears Congress.
It was over 1,000 pages. Mm-hmm. It was 1,000 pages long. A bit like when you ask your mum to print off the boarding passes. Easy. Can I just say, Des, for someone who's heading on holiday to America next year and I want to pass through security, I think this bill is brilliant.
Daliso, what is your take on Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill?
As much as Trump is an idiot, we have to say he's a good marketer, right? Because, like, big, beautiful bill. It's really like the alliteration, and it's very... would Starmer have got further if they had just called it, like, the wonderful whirlwind of welfare? Right?
Jay, what are your thoughts on this? A huge story this week. What do you make of Trump's big, beautiful bill?
Well, as a woman, I and a lot of other women in this room will have at some point heard men describe things to them as being big and beautiful. And 100% of the time, massive disappointment. It's going to be small, limp, and unable to perform at any satisfactory level, isn't it? I can see you're nodding there, Des. And
I don't know what she means. Everything looks big in my hands. Well, listen, that does continue, but obviously as part of this, Elon Musk is threatening to form his own political party. But let's ask our guest this week, if you were going to form your own political party, what would it be called and why? Tiff?
I think I'd like to get together most of my bills or my amendments or my ideas from the spirit world. So that's what I would do. 'Cause I've been thinking about it recently, and I think my boobs are haunted. I've got big supernaturals. That's what I'm calling my party, big supernaturals.
See, if your breasts were haunted, would they be called boobs? Were they?
Daliso, what do you think about this? So Elon Musk saying he might form his own political party. Put yourself in this position. You're forming your own political party. What's it called and why?
It's just funny you're bringing this up. Like right now in Malawi, my dad may be running for president. Because, well, it's in discussion because the president of his party, is really old and being pushed to resign, a la Biden last year. And if he's pushed out, my dad will be running. So it's insane.
Wow.
It's insane.
No, can we? Why did it take you so long to mention this?
Well, it's just one of those where I was like, I don't think it's really relevant to Scotland.
It will be relevant in 5 years when your dad has a golf course in Coatbridge.
Yes, well done, Stuart and Tiff. You get 2 points for that. And at the end of that round, well done. The teams are all square. Now, much of our news is about public opinion, so to find out what stories people are talking about, we spoke to two friends of the show, comedian Mark Watson and journalist and YouTuber Claire Johnson. So, Stuart and Tiff, first of all, what is Claire talking about here?
I mean, you can't shout, "You cannot be serious," at a robot. It's just not the same.
It's probably good for the players because it takes doubts away from decisions, but not the audience. I mean, when you lose humans, you lose the fun of watching them diving away from tennis balls that are approaching 120 miles an hour.
This is about getting rid of line judges at Wimbledon.
Yes, Wimbledon got underway in London this week, and for the first time in 148 years, there are no line judges. They've been replaced by cameras and sensors calling the shots. Some players have said the calls are too quiet. Others say they miss the tradition. The AI-led system uses advanced imaging technology and 18 cameras. If a ball is out, an animated paperclip pops up and says, "Looks like you were trying to serve an ace." Jay, what do you think? Is this an innovation too far for Wimbledon?
It's just making it even duller. They've taken out the potential for drama, the potential to see rich people argue and lose their minds over chalk marks. Like, if you want to see a posh person lose their mind, I'm just going to have to go rage baiting in Waitrose. Right? Honestly, see if you're ever bored, this is the best game ever. Find a Waitrose and have a wee wander about and like locate the poshest looking woman in there, right? The one who's in there shopping, poshest looking woman, and then walk up to her and ask her, say this, "Excuse me, do you work here?" She will lose her mind. So good. So much fun.
I think it's very foolish because we get more entertainment the less tech it becomes. So instead of going high tech, it should go more low tech. So I would suggest that, just make the rackets worse, make the ball worse, make them play on gravel, and just generally, it's way more entertaining have spikes come up at random. Like a health and safety disaster.
So obviously we've started chatting then about what we can do to help improve Wimbledon. Tiff, what would you do to make Wimbledon better?
I think we could train tennis players, seeing as it is all privileged people, like you say, Jay, mainly playing tennis. So I think the only way that you should train tennis players is using Ivana Trump's method from her book, My Recipe for Raising Kids. She said, "I don't want them to engage in pastimes that have no future. All of my kids play tennis and ski beautifully. At the age of 2, I took each of them to the top of a hill and told them, ski down, and they would wail, I don't like it. Tough, honey, I'd tell them, get to bottom of mountain. Donnie and Ivanka weren't too bad, but Eric would cry for hours at a time. I give him to ski instructor and say, don't worry, if he cries, he'll get over it, he's got to learn."
Stuart, what about this? I don't know if you're a tennis fan, but we're talking about maybe improvements to Wimbledon. What would you do to make Wimbledon better?
I would get a Scottish person to do the calls, just for a laugh. You know what I mean? Okay, that's out the line. Buy a ball here. Can I just imagine the other Scottish people in the audience, though, they say juice, and somebody's like, it's ginger.
The 300 departing line judges held a farewell party where they all did the hokey cokey but couldn't agree if the left leg was in or out. Yes, AI calling the line at Wimbledon is the right answer. Stuart and Tiff, well done. You get 2 points for that. Now to you, Jay and Deliso. It's your turn. What do you think Mark is talking about here?
Openness, agreeableness, conscientiousness, extroversion, and neuroticism. I think I'm about 10 years too old to talk on this subject with any authority. It is a pretty difficult quality to actually define. Jarvis Cocker is certainly someone I would regard in this category.
These are the traits, according to a study, that embody coolness.
Well done. Yes, that is correct. Scientists claim to have identified the defining qualities to make someone cool. The study suggests cool people were thought to be more extroverted, hedonistic, powerful, adventurous, open and autonomous, and having a girlfriend that went to another school. It says here, We're talking about this survey and what it takes to be cool. Do you identify with any of these attributes?
Well, I looked into this, and openness is one. So the appreciation of unusual ideas, curiosity and adventure. All I'm saying is it took me 4 hours to get in that harness. I don't know who was more surprised, me or the dog walker. All I know is I got a biscuit.
What is the uncoolest thing that you've ever done?
I was in a talent show when I was in high school, and I did a poem, right? And before me, there was like a hip-hop dance, and there were like people doing, and I did a poem.
Do you remember which poem? Was it
I
Shakespeare?
wrote it. I
You
wrote
wrote
it.
it.
Terrible.
Ah!
I wrote it. It was so,
Even worse. That's exactly what we're looking for. Jay, what about you? We're talking about being cool, but what's the uncoolest thing that you've ever done?
I took up pole dancing in my 40s. I thought that would be cool. I thought it would be sexy and cool. It's not, because you have to film yourself pole dancing. So I've seen myself pole dancing, and I can tell you I've seen sexier kebabs spinning in chip shop windows. I was an insult to eroticism. I really was.
Tiff, what's the uncoolest thing that you've ever done?
Jobby on a water slide. I was 18 years old and I went to Ayia Napa and I was at the water park with my boyfriend at the time. We broke up. What a shock. I'd gone on the water slide, and what happened was I'd gone down with such force and the water came rushing up the other way, leading to what I can only describe as an unexpected enema. Which, to be honest, is the worst kind. So I got out of the pool and I thought, those guys are just staring at me, like whispering. And I'm like, oh my God, are they going to ask me out? My boyfriend's going to get so... It was because there was jobby down my leg. Jobby down my leg. Jobby down my leg. I've not been back. Yeah, just be careful out there, guys. Just be careful, because water can do things you didn't know it could.
Hold on. Are you the reason they've shut the time capsule?
Well done to our teams. Yes, defining what it means to be cool is the right answer. 2 points go to Jay and Deliso. This is Breaking the News from BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. Now, this round is all about who's in the news. I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. So, Jay and Deliso, you're up first this time. Who is this?
They went crazy. They were laughing, and not at the movie, but they were laughing with the film. I was laughing. They were laughing. At the end, they applauded like crazy, and I got bitten by this bug.
That is Steven Spielberg.
Well done, yes. That was indeed Steven Spielberg, the legendary director, marking the 50th anniversary of his film Jaws by watching it. As the original blockbuster, it inspired an entire generation of sharksploitation entertainment, and it transformed what millions thought about sharks for better and for worse. During the filming of Jaws, the mechanical shark was given the nickname Bruce after Steven Spielberg's lawyer. Could have been worse if Spielberg had been Scottish. That shark would have been called Digby Brown. There you go. Right answer, Jay. Are you a fan of Spielberg's legendary film?
Yeah, I am. My dad is a massive fan of Jaws. He absolutely loves Jaws. And when I was a teenager, we went to Martha's Vineyard where Jaws was filmed. And one of the big things is they take you to the bridge that is in the movie, and you can jump off and into the water. And we're standing on the bridge, and my dad's like, right, okay, we'll go together. And he went 1, 2, 3, and I jumped and he didn't. And the last words that I heard as I hit the water was my dad going, "Shark!" And honestly, it's been 30 years. That was 30 years ago. I'm now 43. My dad's in his 70s. And revenge is a dish best served cold. Because what I like to do now is, like, if my dad's, falling asleep to a wee nap, I like to go, Dignitas! Just to keep him on his toes.
We heard from Steven Spielberg there, Deliso. Are you a fan of Spielberg's legendary film?
I'm a fan, but it traumatized my childhood self. We lived close to the Indian Ocean. I wouldn't go in. I always think like horror should be of things that don't exist, like vampires and zombies, not like actual fish.
Yeah. Big angry fish, Deliso, as well.
See, I actually made my 3.5-year-old daughter watch Jaws so she can see what Baby Shark became.
Well, obviously, we're looking at Jaws as a generation-defining film, changed the lives of many who watched it and many involved in it as well. But what movie changed your life?
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Because I thought I was watching a Tetley ad with Gary Oldman in it. For about 45 minutes before I realised what was going on.
Sharks can have up to 300 teeth, which is more than they have in the whole of Largs. Right, over to you now, Stuart and Tiff. Who is this and why are they in the news?
I was certainly accepted by the audiences, but I think in the industry, I don't think girls at first were taken seriously, perhaps weren't given as much of a push.
Debbie Harry.
That's the right answer. Well done, yes. It's the legendary rocker Debbie Harry. The frontwoman for Blondie celebrates turning 80 this week by looking back at her life. In an interview, she spoke about the early pressures, divulging that cosmetic surgery was necessary for her career as an entertainer. Is Debbie right? Do you need to be attractive to be successful in the entertainment industry?
Yeah, you do. It's kind of exhausting as a woman that you sort of have to think about this stuff. But, you've only got to look like at the amount of famous actresses recently who turned, or singers that had turned 50, 60, and they celebrated by doing nude shoots. And everyone kept saying it's brave. And I was like, oh, or is it exhausting? How long does this go on for? Am I going to be thirst trapping on the gram when I'm in my 60s with a copy of Reader's Digest covering me areola? I don't know where it ends.
Very open interview from Debbie Harry. What do you think, Stuart? Is Debbie right? Do you need to be attractive to be successful in the entertainment industry?
I don't know about cosmetic surgery. I think it's a bad day when you have to tip your head back to open your mouth.
Deliso, is Debbie Harry right? Do you need to be attractive to be successful in the entertainment industry?
I think definitely. And I also think there's a lot of judgment of people who get cosmetic surgery. There are always people and I'm like, if I was a multimillionaire, I would not look like this, right? I would walk in with maybe a picture of Idris Elba and say, let's make another one. Come on. All right. I think if you have the budget for it, you would do it.
Jay, what's your take on this? Is Debbie Harry right? Do you need to be attractive to be successful in the entertainment industry?
It is hard. It is hard. I mean, I'm in my 40s now, and, it's difficult because the ladies in the room, collagen face masks, everything, we're getting sold all these things all the time, and I look at young people and I want to get that shiny face, but Estee Lauder don't sell that because it's called Hope.
A big birthday to celebrate for Debbie Harry as well, turning 80. But what about our guests this week? What are you looking forward to about getting older? Tiff?
I actually think I'm a very sexy age at the moment. I am the kind of age where if I turn down an alcoholic drink at the bar, people are like, "Oh, is she? Are you on antibiotics?" They want to know. Sometimes I order a cranberry juice for an air of sexual mystery.
Jay, final thoughts on this to you. Obviously, turning 80 is a big birthday for Debbie Harry. She's been talking about that. But what about you, Jay? What are you looking forward to about getting older?
All of it. I'm looking forward to the wild swimming. Have you not noticed this? Every beach that you walk along in Scotland, you can't move for menopausal mermaids coming out of the sea. It's amazing, just women in their 50s going, I feel so alive! Dead husbands bobbing about in the background.
Debbie Harry says in the music industry you're expected to look half your age, which does make you wonder just how old Mick Jagger and Keith Richards really are. Yes, Debbie Harry is the right answer. 2 points goes to Stuart and Tiff. It's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
What's your grandma doing tonight?
That's Good Morning Scotland's Gary Robertson there, who seems to be launching his own bingo night. Right, let's do it, teams. Fingers on buzzers, and here we go. 43% of people in Scotland admit that they've done what in a car? Deliso.
Oh, it's all Scotland, not just Glasgow. But I was thinking cocaine.
43% of people in Scotland admit that they've done what in a car? Jay.
Is it pick their nose?
Oh.
Because the rest just haven't admitted it. Like, I don't know what it is. Do you ever notice, like, as soon as sorry guys, but mostly men get in a car, they seem to think that it's no good windows. And you can't,
43% of people in Scotland admit they've done what in a car? Tiff.
Opened a window for circulation, but actually, because they let one go.
43% of people in Scotland admit they've done what in a car? Stuart.
Let the dog drive so they can put their head out the window.
Do you know what? I am going to give you the point, Stuart Mitchell, because the answer we were looking for is 43% of people in Scotland admit they've let pets ride on their lap in the car. So because you talked about swapping places with a dog, I'll give you the point for that. Well done, Stuart.
Thank you.
What's your grandma doing tonight?
Oh, that is our klaxon. Gary has Robertson. It means it's all over. And at the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Jay Lafferty and Deliso Chaponda. Commiserations to Tiff Stevenson and Stuart Mitchell. And we'll leave you with the breaking news. Breaking news. Just in, 2 passengers have been rescued after falling into the sea from a Disney cruise ship. The 2 were holding onto a railing at the back of the ship when they fell. Coincidentally, around the same time, Jane McDonald began singing Let It Go. An archaeological dig at the site of the Glencoe massacre has revealed pieces of pottery and a lead shot from the 17th century. There was huge excitement as this key find offers invaluable historical insight. Historians can now say with some certainty that one time in Glencoe, somebody might have shot a plate. And the Bank of England may drop historical figures from banknotes. They've said they want things that more widely represent British culture. So the new £20 note will feature a guy punching a seagull that's trying to steal his Greggs. The news is broken. I've been Des Clark. Goodbye.